our channel. We wanted to put together a video like this for a while, so we are really excited to kind of get started on kind of basically giving you a summary of the last 3 years and basically of our infertility life. So what this video is going to be our infertility story from the beginning. So this month, September, is actually 3 years. It is 3 years that we have been on this crazy, windy, sometimes very crappy road. And so what better way to kind of commemorate? I don't even know why, but we just thought we would kind of put this video together to share with you guys.
And the biggest part of it is just we wanted to be able to share so you guys understand what we've kind of been through over the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. And that way it can kind of answer some of the questions that you may have had and just kind of lay everything out on the table, and now you know exactly where we're at and how we got to where we are.
All right, so let's start from the very beginning. So we decided to start trying to conceive. We had only been married a few months. We were actually on our honeymoon. We were married in June and we went on our honeymoon to Mexico in September. And we had this really rainy day and we were stuck inside the hotel and we were laying in bed talking all day long. And we decided then and there that we were ready for a family. I had always wanted to be a mom. Like it was, you know, people say that, but like for me it was like true. Like it was very, very strong and everyone around me knows it. So I, you know, it was kind of like I really want to try, and Kayla's like, oh, but it doesn't really make sense. And then finally, eventually, we're like, yeah, let's just do it. Yeah. And looking back, I'm glad we did because now we're on this road. But
it was a good time to start because otherwise we would have just been delayed that much longer, however long we decided to wait.
I mean, we know we're young and we know we have time. Don't worry, we know we're well aware. But this is just kind of how things are for us.
Yeah. And I think one of the big reasons that I wanted to start trying was because I also wanted to have that experience of a family. And I know when I was younger, when my parents or people would ask me, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'd always used to say, married and a father. So naturally that's why. And so we started our journey. Now that was what we did for about 8 months I think, and no luck. We checked every month, we tried to be in line with ovulation and all that kind of good stuff, but no luck. So we thought, you know what, we might want to talk to our doctor about this. So we went and saw Ayla's family doctor. She got her checked out first. She got the clear. Now, I'm not sure what that means still, looking back, but there wasn't anything to reveal to us.
No, they said there was nothing wrong.
Yeah.
That's what they said.
There was nothing wrong.
Out, so.
And then it was me. So I went in for a semen analysis, and to our kind of despair and just disappointment, it was a very poor result. Such a big shock to our system.
So I was just kind of waiting for the call. I knew he had gone in, and basically the way things work here with like kind of my doctor and stuff is if you don't get any news, then that's good news. If you get a call to come in to discuss the results, then there's usually something kind of negative. And unfortunately, one day I was just doing my business and I got the call, and I knew right then, my heart sank, and I just knew that something was wrong. And I was heartbroken and devastated, and sure enough, we went in and found out, you know, that things are wrong, that the, you know, like we have obviously count, motility and morphology to consider, and they were all very low, but the biggest thing for us was morphology. He had 0% normal morphology, not 1%, 0. It was like, is that even a thing?
So basically, it makes it very difficult for the sperm that I do have to swim well and make it to the egg. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of why we have trouble conceiving naturally, and but we can't.
That's what we knew at that time.
At that time. So we were told, here's what you can do for some lifestyle changes, and that's kind of their first step. So that involved wearing boxers, which I never really liked wearing boxers, more of a brief kind of guy. so much personal information.
Yeah, sharing everything.
And then the second thing was no heated seats, no
Coke, caffeine.
No caffeine, no Coke, no coffee, and
what else? No laptop on your lap.
Oh yeah, basically keep all your electronic devices away from your area.
And heat, anything heat. No hot tubs, no
hot tubs. There was like a lot of things, and so we did that, and that was 3 months because
we even did supplements. We did
do
Fertilate for men.
Yeah, to no avail. So I had to do that for 3 months because it takes 3 months from the time that you start those changes before that sperm is regenerated, and you will see the effect if it did work from all those things that you did. So it was 3 months later, I went in for a sperm analysis, and it really didn't change much. So at that time, we got, I guess, a requisition, and we're told to go see our fertility doctor. And we were put on the wait list, and we knew it was going to be 4 to 6 months. Waiting. So
that's literally the whole 3 years of it is mostly waiting. But
so basically, after starting our journey in September of 2013, it wasn't until, I guess, August of 2014 that we were then referred to the clinic. So that was about 11 months after we started trying. And then it was January of 2015 that we got in for our consultation. And so we went to the consultation.
Yeah, we basically just met with the doctor that we do have now, kind of chatted about what our options are. Obviously at that point I had done tons of research, and we were kind of under this kind of thought and impression that we would have to just go straight to sperm donor. We didn't really think we had much else. So then sitting down with that doctor, he kind of let us know that no, IVF with ICSI is an option for you. And we were kind of shocked because we never even really considered it. Because holy crap, it costs so much money, and we were just young, poor students at the time. So it was a little bit of a shock, but we kind of hummed and hawed and thought about it a lot, and we decided we wanted to do IVF because we wanted that chance of myself and Caleb genetically, people get to have every day, right? And so we went forward with that. We did our IVF June 2015. And obviously that you can see that was unsuccessful. So it was, in my mind, it was more than unsuccessful. It was brutal.
It was everything you had worked towards up until that point and being so hopeful, and then just it ended. And
we were a little bit young and naive at that point.
But I feel we trusted our doctors more than maybe we do now.
Not our doctors, we just trusted that going through that step meant that it would give us something. That's what we thought,
Yeah, and I think they said a lot of things that made us feel more hopeful than maybe we should have taken them as. So.
The biggest one is that we're young, and obviously in the fertility world, the younger you are, the better things are for you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Not our case. Definitely not our case. Kind of not the way things work for us. But we did definitely hear that a lot. You're so young. You're so young. Yeah.
And here's the thing with being young. So finding out that you have an issue like we have when you're young means that you have to live with that and suffer through that way longer.
So after that failed IVF, we kind of had a lot of soul searching to do and thinking to do. It was really, really tough on us. I remember that time being very devastating and hard. So we kind of went back to the drawing board, and we tried to kind of pick different options for us that would kind of work the best. So that's when we started to kind of more consider sperm donor more seriously. We had decided then to move forward with sperm donor and do IUIs. One of the big reasons was that the IVF was so, crap. It really just did not work.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to go through that again, especially with the money and the stress and the added physical of it.
Get anything out of it because we didn't get frozen embryos, right?
Yeah.
That was the biggest loss.
Yeah.
So we kept going forward. We tried to switch things up and look at different routes, and that's why we got to a sperm donor and kind of that discussion. And we had a bunch of videos in the later part of last year where we discussed that and kind of weighed our options and really thought about how that would affect us, obviously with me not being biologically related to the child. And
it was a big
decision, but we managed to make the right one. I still believe in that, and I'm fine with doing sperm donor. I'm glad that we chose that, and I think it's what was going to be the best for us. And right now, things aren't working out that well, but I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that we've changed to sperm donor.
No.
It's just there's other factors now that we weren't aware of. So that's what kind of seems to happen to us is we do what we can to make up our mind to change things around, but then we find a new problem or a new issue or something that it was out of our control.
Yeah. So, like, basically at that point, we didn't know anything that was wrong with me. We just solely thought that the kind of problem or issue that we were having was on Caleb's side. So, sperm donor was the logical choice that made a lot of sense, you know. Now everything's back to being good, right? So we did 2 IUIs. We did 2 months in a row, I believe it was.
I believe it was like December and January.
Yeah. So not quite a year ago. And I did Clomid, and that was awful, like totally awful. And then we did the IUIs. So we did 2 in a row. The thing with that is, you buy your sperm vials in advance, and so we had actually purchased 6 vials, and we thought that was a really good number. But each IUI, you use a whole vial, so slowly each month that it doesn't work, you're losing them, and it's so stressful. So we ended up actually deciding to take a break from the IUIs because we had a chance to go to Mexico, and I was like too scared of the Zika virus, so I was like, we need to like pause this. And you know, my doctor recommended I go on birth control for it and all of that, so we basically took a break from the IUIs.
And then with like 2 weeks to spare before going to Mexico, Ayla's appendix starts to rupture, she had a cyst rupture which inflamed her appendix.
Huge cyst.
And
ovarian cyst.
Yeah, big ovarian cyst. It ruptured. She was in excruciating pain. We went to the hospital.
I think it was the most pain I've ever been in my life. It was horrendous.
Yeah, you were definitely dying.
I was screaming on the top of my lungs, and it was horrible.
So that was an eventful evening, all night long at the hospital, an emergency, and then finally figuring out like what it was and having her appendix removed like within a few hours.
Yeah, it was
and then
whirlwind.
That leading to the discovery of endometriosis and having to have another surgery scheduled so that she would get her ovary and fallopian tube removed. Mm-hmm. So another shock to the system.
I know a lot of you probably have seen those videos. Some of you have been following us throughout that kind of time. And so you know that was like a big deal for us. That was really, really, really hard on me. Like, I was just shocked. Like, I never thought that was an issue. Like, looking back now, I see that some symptoms line up and it makes sense, and I'm kind of like, how didn't we figure this out before? But at the time, like, I woke up groggy from surgery, and the doctor said, like, we think we have to take out your ovary, and I was like what? Like,
you're like bawling your eyes
out. I'm like, I need that ovary to have a baby. Like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm. And you weren't even like fully back, like from being under, right?
No,
and you're just like getting dropped this bomb of terrible information, and it was hard. And at least we had a really good conversation with him in our follow-up appointment to the surgery, and that really helped with moving forward. But still, it was tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then obviously we went through with the surgery. We actually went in to see our fertility specialist kind of like as soon as we could to discuss everything. And he agreed to move forward with the surgery, so we kind of were scheduling that. And during that conversation, we had actually kind of figured that doing another round of IVF, but with the donor sperm, was going to be a really great option for us. The biggest reasons was because having the surgery with endometriosis, then you're kind of clear and you're fresh and you're basically like the best you can be, I guess. And so doing IVF and scheduling it literally right when I finished healing from the surgery was like the best scenario for that. Also because I had time off work for the summer, I was off, so we thought it would be great. And yeah, so that's probably a lot of you guys know kind of the most recent IVF and how things worked out with that, but we'll give you a quick recap just in case.
So after we got back from Mexico, we started to save our money because we knew we were going to be moving forward with an IVF treatment, because given the fact that she had endometriosis and how that would continue to grow if you didn't do something about it. So put her on some drugs to suppress it.
Yeah, so Zoladex for 3 months, which suppresses your cycles completely, basically puts you in menopause. And then I was on Lupron for 1 month. Yeah. Terrible hot flashes. I'm so sorry if you ever have to go on it. I'm so sorry. I feel you.
Yeah. No, it's bad. And like out of nowhere, you're just sweating.
It was
so
nasty.
After the drugs were kind of cleared out of the system, we started our IVF, and that was this August, like the first week of August we started it. And unfortunately that one didn't work as well, and it was a roller coaster, this one, because we were like getting tons of follicles, even though she only had one ovary, which was like huge, and then so many fertilized, but then the quality wasn't that great, and it wasn't looking like we were going to get very many good ones to even transfer, so we had to do a 3-day transfer again, which isn't ideal. We would have liked to do a 5, and then we did a 3, but then after that we were waiting, and we didn't know what was going to happen to our embryos, and sure enough, it was just like crazy.
Yeah.
We had 3 frozen.
Yeah. Because they really weren't progressing well, and like we were basically kind of being warned kind of to like expect them to not make it.
Yeah.
So when we found out on that they let them grow until day 7, and when we got the call saying that they were able to freeze 3 of them, like we were just in complete and utter shock. Like I can't even explain how shocking it was. Amazing, of course. We do kind of worry a little bit about the quality of them, just because we have that history of having not very great quality embryos, and so that is kind of a big worry of mine. But nonetheless, 3 frozen embryos was such an amazing blessing that we were so happy to have.
It was, and now we're really just waiting for our appointment with our doctors so that we can have a better understanding of what those embryos are like for quality, and kind of how we're going to move forward, and how he feels we should move forward based on our history now. So that appointment is in a couple days, and we got it moved up from what was originally going to be the very last day of September. So thankfully we did, because waiting a full month after failing an IVF cycle is pretty rough. So we'll find out how that goes. In the meantime, we've started to now consider other options and other things that are going to help us get our family. So now we're looking into embryo adoption and also just regular adoption, and we're trying to figure out how that is going to work for us, while also seeing if we're going to be able to do a frozen transfer soon.
So this journey has definitely not been easy. It has been very, very, very difficult, and at times kind of too difficult to handle, but at the same time, like, it has grown us very close as a married couple. That close, apparently. We basically have grown together and through this, and it has kind of solidified like our relationship, and like we, this is part of our journey now, and it's part of our story, and we've kind of been embracing it. With that, you obviously see that we have a YouTube channel. We have kind of grown this community, and we have gotten to know a lot of you, like talking with you and reading your comments and everything.
Yeah.
And it has been just really amazing, and probably like the highlight of this infertility journey is having you guys.
I think so. And I think the biggest thing is that we've created something that's a little bit bigger than us, and that's not like we're not alone in this. Now we get to share with you guys. You get to share with us. You get to give your feedback, your comments, tell us about your stories, and we can relate to each other, and we can provide each other with that hope. And that's the biggest thing that I think we've gotten out of the last 3 years with our YouTube. Well, not the last 3 years with YouTube, but vlogging for the last year and a half. And so it's been amazing, and it's been a struggle, but all the same, we've been able to help people, and people have been able to help us, and I really enjoyed that. Yeah.
And obviously the biggest thing is when we do get that baby and that family and that love, like, we are going to appreciate it so much. Like, I don't think I will ever take a second for granted with my children. I am going to be like obsessed with them and like love every single millisecond with them. And You know, not that I wouldn't have if we didn't experience infertility, but I just think it's amplified now.
Yeah.
So that's something we have yet to have the benefits of, but I think it's definitely in our future.
Yeah, and I can't wait.
So yeah, that is just kind of our recap of the last 3 years of kind of our infertility journey. We hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned some things to kind of get a better sense of who we are and what we have kind of been through in this last little while. We love documenting it and sharing it with you guys, so thank you so much for watching.
And please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't so you can check out more videos and stay up to date with our journey. And please leave a comment down below and we'll answer any questions you may have as well. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye!
Bye guys.